My handle is Jonathan Blade. For Black Friday, I bought myself the Samsung Galaxy Tab S6 Lite. And so we're looking at the tablet being able to work with these specific peripherals. My microphone, external storage, a mouse and keyboard, and a USB game controller. There was another thing that I absolutely wanted it to do, and even though the Tab S6 Lite is a fantastic piece of equipment, Samsung makes fantastic equipment, it didn't do that one thing, which is to connect to an external display over HDMI. Fortunately, I remembered that for Windows and any Android device, you can actually mirror the desktop of that device to Chromecast, and I have several Chromecasts, so I have a Chromecast connected to the monitor that I use for PC stuff, instant desktop size display. With that said, let's look at some productivity. The way that productivity works on Android is amenable to the way that I work. I don't like to have 1,000 things open at one time because I don't think in that fashion. So on Android you can work in two apps side by side, varying the size of the window, or top and bottom varying the size of the window, with a third floating app. For tablet Android, even on the Samsung devices, certain apps that have not been modified to work well in a tablet environment, mostly social media apps. And for those apps, what I've discovered is that you can just use the website. Instagram works way better as the website. Twitter works way better from the website. And with Chrome, you can actually bookmark those websites and save hot links to those websites as desktop apps. And then, of course, the modern situation of web conferencing, web calls, as you can't be in direct contact with family and friends. This tablet has a very nice front-facing camera. The rear camera's there too, but it's not really important for anything that I would do with it. The media experience on the Tab S6 Lite is also exemplary. It's using a Full HD Plus panel that gets plenty bright, and they're calling it TFT, but it's definitely an IPS panel. The audio is nice as well. It stays clear at loud volumes, and there's nice separation between the stereo speakers. The included S Pen Smart Stylus is a great boon. It does so much, and what I found is that the S Pen is actually a superior pointer for this use case than a mouse. So you want to use a keyboard with the S Pen and you're going to have a superior experience. My handwriting is not great, but it transcribed it perfectly. And then of course there is the drawing angle, the artistic capabilities of this stylus, and basically any drawing software, it's unlimited. Now I'm not an artist, so I'm not going to embarrass myself by showing you the practice sketch that I did. Emulators. This one's nifty. This is PlayStation Remote Play. It allows you to play your PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5 on an Android device, Windows, Mac, iOS. It only works with the DualShock controller. Fortunately, there's a developer that has taken this application and gussied it up a little bit. And so in his application, PS Play, he has increased the functionality, allowing third-party controllers. It's awesome. So your mileage may vary, but what I found, and what I already knew because I've been using Android at the kind of advanced level for years, is that Android can do almost everything that I needed to do. Even for prosumer stuff, and I'm not on that prosumer level, I'm more of an enthusiast, but for enthusiast stuff, Android can handle the weight. I use 3 editing applications. I use more than that, but 3 main editing applications. I use PowerDirector for mobile video editing, and PowerDirector has gotten very powerful over the course of time. It's not at the LumaFusion level. There's some things that LumaFusion can do where you can import LUTs and fonts and things of that nature, and you can export your workflow so that it can be used externally. And I think that if you sign into PowerDirector, you can actually do that with desktop PowerDirector and mobile PowerDirector. I use both, and I've never tried that, but I believe that's a thing. Another one, PixArt. I use it for layered photo editing. So when I make a thumbnail for something like this, or something like my podcast, I do that in PixArt, and there's some other applications that are involved in that process, but PixArt is the big daddy application for dramatic layered photo editing. And then the third tier of media editing, of course, is audio, for things like my podcast and this, and for that I use Lexis Audio Editor. Now, Lexis is a single track editor, but in that single track it gives you pretty much all of the functions that you would use in that capacity. And then you can actually import tracks on top of the existing single track for layered audio, but since it doesn't let you edit it in multiple timelines, I don't use that function. And so with that said, you'd think, hey, that must cover everything. And it doesn't. And it's not usually about functionality for me. There are things that a desktop operating system can do that a mobile operating system is not, because a mobile operating system is made for efficiency. I'm thinking about instances of process or applications. Like, I can have 10 instances of a given application open on a desktop operating system, all doing different things, open side by side, gobbling up RAM. Probably not the ideal way to do anything, but it is a thing that is done. So I do a lot of moving files around, and so if I start that process of moving files in one application, I can't start then moving files to another place, or moving files to the same place, or moving files from that place back to the original place until that process that I just started is done. I'm very focused. Also, although you can connect to external storage, Android will see up to 3 primary sources of storage. It'll see the onboard storage, it'll see the SD card that is in the Tab S6 Lite, it will see 1 storage device connected through the dock, and all of those are primary storages, so you can actively do things from those storage sources. Like if I wanted to watch a movie on that 3rd storage source, I could play a movie off of that source. But if you connect any other pieces of storage, it will see one of those extra pieces of storage as secondary storage, meaning that you can move files to that storage or take files from that storage, but you can't actively do anything else on that storage. And then anything else that's connected, Android won't see. It'll only see basically up to 4 storage sources, 3 primary, 1 secondary. And that's a limitation. It's not a limitation that you would run into normally or even be concerned with, but it is a thing I noticed. It probably won't affect my workflow. The way I work with any computer is not necessarily going to be that at any given time. I might run into that situation 6 times a year, and I still have Windows there, but I don't have to deal with Windows until I do need those circumstances. So yes, Android can definitely function as my primary operating system. Thanks for watching.